Monday night and the scores are in. Nick and Dave about to break it again. Big hits, big trades, heartbreak and fame. Welcome to the league that never plays tame. This is MDFL. Legends rise and the mighty fell. From kickoff till that Monday bell. We bring the heat, yeah, can't you tell? Stats and smack, we're talking bold. Trash talk stories, glory told.
All right. What's up, MDFL? We are live with your 2025 divisional round recap. We are down to the final 8 teams. Half of us will be gone, and I say us because I think I include myself in this group. But half of us will be gone one way or another, and then it'll be the final 4 next week. And we are going to try and bring you one Final Four show with all 4 guys that are left all at the same time. Should be a good time. I think the StreamYard app that we use here can handle it. We'll find out. But at any rate, we've got some games to get through this week. I think we can probably start, Rich, with the biggest blowout of them all. This one is more than over, and that is the Pittsburgh-Jacksonville game.
Yeah, Pittsburgh-Jacksonville, that game's over. By the way, I'm coming from your remote from a parking lot in Elkhart, out chauffeuring the wife around since she can't drive. Big weekend for Justin. He looks like he's going to get the top score again for the week. But he's currently up by 97. Eric and his Jaguars coming up short. He's got one player left, just Patrick Queen, who's averaging about 15 points, but not going to be enough to put a dent into that 97-point lead that he's got. So I know Justin's looking forward to the next matchup, and I know who he's rooting for. So.
Yeah, he is, man. Well, let's bounce over to that because, he wants his revenge game. The guy is out for blood these days, and that means he wants to beat Detroit.
Yep. And you.
Yo, he definitely wants to beat me, but I'm not sure he's going to get the chance. We'll get there.
Well, he's avenging all the losses that he's after.
Guys, he's like freaking Liam Neeson in that movie where they kidnap his daughter. He's just going after everybody. But you and Jordan have a good game here, man. I mean, obviously you've got a sizable lead. You've got the 36-point lead right now, or 35-point lead, I guess it is. You've got a guy left. He's got 2 guys left. You know, your player remains. It's an IDP player. You can tell us who it is if you want to. But it looks like
there's no secrets about it. It's easy if you can do a little detective work, you can figure it out. I've got Peyton Wilson left. He's a linebacker for the Steelers tonight. He's averaging about 17 points a game. His low's 9.5 points. His high's 37. So I just need him to do his average. Jordan and his Lions, he's got 2 defensive ends left. Chubb and Highsmith, averaging 12 and 18 for a total of 30 points. So when I called it was stat corrections, this very easily could fall into stat correction. So, but I'm hoping that nobody goes off tonight and just everybody does their own averages and everything's cool when the dust settles.
Yeah, that's the danger of having defensive linemen left. I mean, they can do nothing or they can go hog wild. Smith is obviously going to get a ton of snaps with TJ Watt being out, but you figure if anybody's getting double teamed on that defensive line, it's probably him.
Yep.
So that I think behooves you. Some pretty bad luck for Jordan this week with Isaiah Likely in a great matchup against the worst tight end defense in the league. He gets nothing. I'm not even sure he had a target. Let's take a peek here real quick at Likely's target share. I show no targets for him. That is remarkable. So, yeah, Likely has been really scoring well, especially over the last few weeks, gets nothing. And then Mike Hughes, who got me too, Mike Hughes scores 0 points, gets hurt immediately in the Thursday night football game. And then he probably should have seen this one coming with Tyreek Stevenson only getting him 2 points. Tyreek, if you follow Bears Twitter at all, definitely was set to lose snaps. They're kind of fed up with his BS. He's the guy that gave up the Hail Mary against the Commanders last year. And then Nashawn Wright has been playing so well. So now that Jalen Johnson is back at the 1 slot, Nashawn Wright's the other guy on the outside, and Tyreek is kind of the odd man out. So only 1 tackle for him, and that could be a really pivotal decision by him because he had Mike Senner still on his bench down here, scoring 16 points, almost 17 points. So you take his current total and add 16 points to it, and we got a much more interesting Monday night.
Yeah.
One that you probably then feel pretty uncomfortable about.
So I want to go back to the Mike Hughes situation, because I think that's really a great situation, since both you and Rich were fighting over him last week, and Jordan listened in and heard that, and quick like snatched him up. And talking to him this week, he said, "Hey, if he's good enough for the commission, the champ, he's good enough for me." So that's what you get for following the blind leader. So
Yeah. As we know, it should have turned out great because the guy who came in for Hughes ended up having 15 or 16 points.
yeah, Kobe Bryant had 15 points, even though that he was more garbage than what Hughes was. But in fantasy football, if you're a garbage corner, you get the attention.
Yeah, there you go. Oh man, brutal though. Mike Hughes, definitely. I could have used all those points too.
Oh, by the way, just for what it's worth, we'll clear it up. Mike Hughes is also out this week. So if you happen to advance, I'm giving you and Jordan, if he advances, fair warning that he's already what I was reading today, he's out today, and we're gonna have to start Kobe Bryant again.
Well, there you go. Well, I'll be dropping Mike Hughes, and if I ever see him in an alleyway, I'm gonna beat his ass. The guy owes me money. If I lose to Rich,
So he'll probably be a free agent picked up by the Bears next year.
there you go. Well, they do need help at DB, and they can't keep anybody healthy there either. So they don't want Mike Hughes. They need somebody that can actually stay on the field for 2 full games. Oh man, so brutal. So I mean, the point of averages shows you winning your game. It shows Pitt obviously winning his. I'm going to put myself last. Let's go ahead and look at this Hayden versus Brent game, where we've got the other NFC North versus the NFC South game. The North obviously had 2 reps left. The South had 2 reps left. You're most likely moving on. Can Brent make that a sweep for the South? It's not looking real good.
Not looking real good. He's got one player left. He's got an offensive player, Jalen Warren, who I saw today. He was downgraded to questionable because of an illness today. Warren has not gotten. I mean, he's down by 35 points. Brent is, and Jalen Warren's low and high for the year is 12 and 28. So, I mean, he'd have to do some type of MJ flu game to overcome that, plus whatever cornerback Hayden has and Douglas.
Yeah, Hayden's other corner is Douglas, which he's been really, really good, even in bad matchups, which I don't think on paper this is a great matchup. Pitt's just a weird offensive team, but even with bad matchups the last couple of weeks, he scored 21 points and then 23 points. So Rasul Douglas is a guy that gets targeted a lot, but he always manages to get his hand on a couple balls and get some passes defense. I think he had like 5 of them last week. So you feel pretty good if you got to take the cornerback into this situation, and it's not Mike Hughes. It might as well be Rasul Douglas. So, yeah, I think Hayden's going to be repping the North for the second year in a row because if I'm not mistaken, he was the guy that was there last year to face off against Mike. So
which he was. That's correct.
Yeah, yep, and he scored 356. That's right. So Hayden once again looks to be putting himself back in contention to go to the Super Bowl. Most likely he's going to be facing you. So good luck to the 2 of you guys.
I hope that's the case. So,
yeah. Then we've got me and Rich, which until you click on it and see he's got 4 players left, that looked pretty good. But then you look at his 4 players, and I'm starting to poop my pants a little bit, man. I'm down to my defensive tackle, which I can't tell you how many times I swapped out freaking Cam Hayward and Kobe Turner and kept telling myself, start Turner. It's a great matchup for Turner. Well, Turner scored 28 points. And if I had those 28 points, I would not be that worried about having 0 guys left. It still wouldn't be a lock by any means, but that would then put me at about a 100-point lead. But yep. Rich has got 4 dudes left. I think he's got the number 1 linebacker in the league in Brooks.
Yep.
He's got Achane, who at any point can go off for 40 points by himself. And then he's got Waddle, and he's got a kicker, Patterson, who averages 10. Yeah, so you add them all together, you get, 59, 69, 75 points, I think, is what Rich's guys average. You put that up against defensive tackle. I need a sack out of Hayward, I think, to have a chance tonight, just to have a chance.
Well,
I need him to make a big play.
Your average with Hayward is about 16 a week. Mm-hmm. And if Rich gets his 73, 75 points, that probably puts you still up by about a 6 or an 8 point lead. So it's about a 6 or 8 point spread in that game. And you start talking about that. I mean, that's 1 extra sack by Brooks or Cameron Hayward not getting his sack or something like that. So you may be sitting with me waiting through stat corrections on Thursday morning.
I think there's a good chance, and there's another weird anomaly about this. Will Reichert, Minnesota's kicker, had 2 tackles last night, which is great. That's 6 points for me. But I could have swore the second one was on a kickoff, and it got called back for penalty, but they never took away the tackle. So I feel very strongly that on stat corrections, unless that's how they do it, I don't know everything about how they assess and blah, blah, blah. But I'm expecting to lose 3 points for Will Reichert as well. So that makes it even worse for me. I think Rich has got a very, very good chance to take this. I know Achane has been hurt, but it wasn't really hurt last week. I think it was more like they were blowing out their opponent, so they put in Wright and let him get a lot of snaps. Now, the weirdest thing about, I'm not going to bring it up because there's Achane in another league that I have to deal with. But we don't talk about that. We're not going to deal with that. It's going to be a good game no matter what. I'm going to be watching on the edge of my seat. Definitely going to have to drink a little beer while I'm watching this one just to calm my nerves. But it looks like that's coming down to the wire. Your game is coming down to the wire. There's a chance the Minnesota-New Orleans game is going to have some interesting play. And then the other one is a blowout. And I actually did a little look into as far as Eric. We mentioned last week how Eric is always in the playoffs. He's always won his division. Well, until this year, he had never won a playoff game. I didn't realize that. He was out in the first round of the playoffs every single year. So this year he actually got his first ever playoff win. But then again, immediately bounced. So Eric is just not a playoff team.
Well, for what it's worth, I've never won a playoff game either. So I'm 0-2. I mean, unless you want to count my bye as a win, that's the only time I've advanced.
There you go. Well, you do get the prize money for the bye. We changed that a couple years ago.
Yeah, I do remember that. So
there you go. You get a little cashola. But yeah, Justin, then again, obviously it's his first year in the league. He's 2-0 now. He's averaging in the playoffs 379 points. So nobody wants to play that guy, but either myself or Rich is going to have to try and beat him next week. I think when I did the predictions, I predicted pretty closely to what Rich's final score is going to be, but I overshot mine by quite a ways. I'm not going to get to the 360 or 370 or whatever I thought I was going to get to. So coming down to it, man, nitty, gritty. Let's check out the survivor pool. And I think, everybody survived there. We've only got the 3 guys left. Now we'll have 3 more weeks left after this. So probably not going to do another reset unless people really clamor for it. Probably wouldn't make a lot of sense to. But yeah, we had 2 picks San Francisco and then 1 pick Houston. I think both those teams won pretty easily. San Fran had a little bit of a scare against Tennessee, but good for those guys. Moving on to again next week, and that would be yourself, Dustin Klotz, and then Big Dan, Cleveland Browns, all moving on 1 more week. As far as the pick'em, we had a change when I looked at this earlier. Brent had actually gained a game on me, and I think it was because what game did we have? He had Detroit, if I remember right. Yeah, he had Detroit, and I had the Rams, and that game was back and forth for a while. But ended up I tied him, so I stayed 2 games back. Dan gained a little ground. He's only 2 games back now, and then you gained a game as well, so you're 5 games back. But again,
I gained a game. I gained a game, and I didn't even put in a vote in one of them, so I didn't even pick one of them.
Yeah, that was you this week and Jordan last week. You guys missing out on your Thursday night football. Where's the loyalty? Some interesting picks here. Scott, the only one to take the Saints. I lost money on that freaking game. And Minnesota, taken by Mike Nichols, who again is really trying hard to do this inverse thing where he's really trying to pick the teams that don't, that aren't likely to win because he's quite a ways down. He's down by nine in the pick'em right now. Klotz did not get to make up any ground this week, but he still kind of stays there in the thick of things. So again, I always just want to point out that the guy who only got 1 game in week 2 is still fighting and still in this thing. So fun to watch. Sean is terrible at this. Just do whatever Sean does and then reverse it.
Do the opposite of Sean. Yep.
He is definitely falling off. But yeah, we just got a couple more. We got the Miami pick game tonight, and that could very easily be a sway too. I'm not going to disclose who I picked, and I'm sure Brent won't want to disclose who he picked again. But that is a game that I feel is very up in the air. Both of those teams have to win. I think Miami's got a 4-game winning streak. Pittsburgh's still just barely hanging on to the top of their division in the AFC North, and they're fighting to hang on over Baltimore, who won. So they really need to get a win tonight as well. And Miami, I think if I heard right, if they lose tonight, they're eliminated. they're going to go home and hang out with Pat Mahomes and his one ACL. So tough break for the Chiefs. Tough break. Everyone's heart's really upset for that. Poor Chiefs.
Well, we also have one more week of the elusive 217 pick that's up for grabs.
That's right. Do you got some numbers for us? I forgot.
I do. We forgot to talk about it last week. I wrote it down, and I don't know how we forgot to talk about it, but basically a two-man race. And I'm just going to talk about the two men that are leading in both. In the AFC, Gavin and his Ravens have got 662 points over KC Chiefs. KC was leading after week one, but he had a really bad showing last week at 270. And this is not official because there's still players left tonight. But going into the game tonight, Gavin's probably got about a 34-point lead over Mike and the Chiefs right now. And then over in the NFC, down to the two teams, and again, there's still teams to be played tonight. Seattle's leading Shannon and his Eagles by about 20 points, 632 to 612. So both of those are within about 20 points. And again, 20 points, I mean, very easily for your team to go 350 or 270, definitely changing a lot of stuff. But those are the top 4, 2 in each league right now that are leading the that elusive 217, that extra pick that they get for the teams that are out of the playoffs.
All right. Yeah. I'm trying to find where it is. I know there's somewhere it's an easier way to see that, but I'm too dumb. I can't find it. There it is. There we go. Okay. So if we go weeks 13, I don't know. It won't let me do 14. Shoot. So it's just.
Well, I wouldn't do 14 because 14 is not official yet.
There we go. Yeah. Those are your week 14 scores. And then, 15 we'll have to wait for. But, yeah, there you can see one of the highest scoring teams was Gavin in week 14. Even out of all the playoff teams, he was one of the higher scorers. So, yeah, it's always a little extra. That 217 has been a valuable pick in the past. I always say, hey, look at Sam Laporta. Wouldn't you like to have Sam Laporta for free?
Yep.
That's what you can get at the 214, so that's kind of cool. All right, man. Anything we're forgetting?
That's all I've got. We'll just have to pick a time for later this week and get the final 4 winners to talk about their championship weekends coming up. So,
yeah, so I'd say go ahead and make those plans. Rich, call in. I'll still be there to interview with all my tiers and fully expecting to lose tonight, man. And then I have to buy Rich bourbon. So he's going to make me pay. I have a feeling it's not going to be Buffalo Trace. It's probably going to be a little pricier. All right, boys. Appreciate you guys tuning in. I forgot to check for comments. We don't have any, so that's good. But we did have some viewers, so I appreciate that, guys. Hope you enjoyed. Good luck tonight, everybody, and we will see you again in a couple days.
All right, get some sleep, guys. At least I wish I was getting sleep tonight, but I guess I'm not. So
No,
probably not you either, Nick.
not at all. Not at all. And I have a feeling I won't sleep well when I do go to bed. All right,
All
kids.
right. See you guys.
It's Monday night and the scores are in. Nick and Dave about to break it again. Big hits, big trades, heartbreak and fame. Welcome to the league.